Welcome, everybody, to another live episode of the Strategic Veteran Transition Talks, whatever we're doing today. Today, I'm excited to bring to you a guy who's been in my DMs and my email inbox, and we've had several conversations back and forth. Mr. Joe Meisch is the CEO and founder of Temple Massager, and he created this funny-looking product that is changing people's lives. And you guys know I'm all about the holistic healing, from plant medicine to my new ambassadorship with Sheepdog Therapeutics and Discover Reality Training and some more stuff that's coming that way. The mission here is to turn you on to these resources that are holistic in nature, that are not just giving you a chemical concoction that turns you into a zombie that still wants to kill yourself. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Joe here. Joe is a veteran who created this awesome product, and he's going to basically steal the show today to talk about this. And he brought receipts. So tune in, listen up, and stay till the end, because at the end, Joe has a pretty generous offer for anybody who tunes into this. And I think a lot of you are going to want to take advantage of it. So, Joe, welcome to the show, man. Really excited to get to do this with you, and I'm excited to turn the world on to Temple Massager, man.
Right on, Mr. Peters. Thank you, sir. As always, veteran to veteran. Thank you for your service. Appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah. So I'm really grateful to be here. Independent, entrepreneur, made in USA, veteran-owned business. We're bucking the system here, so to speak, and we created something new that was never invented before. The Temple Massager, obviously. I'm not that unique myself, so I appreciate the opportunity to be here and on your show, man. So thank you very much,
dude. So tell me a little bit about your career. Just give them a highlight reel. You're a veteran-owned business, and why did you come up with this product? What was it that just kind of, boom, this is the light bulb, I got to create this now?
Okay, this is great. You're going to love it. It's so simple, and it's totally basic. So I'm in 579th Engineer Battalion, Combat Engineer, Army Guard Unit, and I'm also going to University of Sonoma State. I'm a chauffeur, so I'm busy, man, and I was studying science, geology, right? So it's chemistry, calculus, mineralogy, and man, it all started because I'm in mineralogy and I'm looking at microscopes and 5-micron thin slides to identify minerals to name a rock. And I'm in a lab and I'm looking, and the left lens on the microscope is bad, and I keep rubbing it, and I'm like, oh man, I got to get another microscope. So then I go to another microscope and the left lens is bad. I'm like, man, all the left lenses in the microscopes are bad. And like at the third microscope, knucklehead here is like, is it the left lens of the microscope or is it my left eye?
It's your left lens, right?
It was my left microscope eye. So I do this. I'm like first aid, lots of first aid in the military. So I'm doing this thing where I'm moving my hand across my left eye, and it's going blind at about 45 degrees. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? Am I having a stroke? What's happening? I go to the doctor on campus, and they're like, you're about to have the biggest headache of your life. Well, I started getting migraines, right? So then literally I'm dealing with migraines, tension headaches. I'm already clenching, cracking
teeth. Let's talk about migraines, because I think a lot of people get a headache and they don't understand. There's a big difference between a really bad headache and a fucking migraine, right? Like migraines they're enough to put you out of out of commission, right? So can you talk about kind of the delineation?
When I was getting migraines, dude, it's brutal. I mean, you either ride it out or you take a pill. I mean, if you can ride it out, you're stronger than I am, because migraines are no fun. They're crippling to the nth degree. And like, you're talking to a guy that's been through 12 surgeries. Like, I trashed my knees in the military. And so I've had complete knee replacement surgery, multiple surgeries before that. I've had a hernia. I've chopped myself up for construction, had stuff sewn back on, car accident, 12 surgeries. And so I know what pain is, and I know what putting up with pain is. This is right up there with knee replacement surgery level pain. Migraines are no joke. People that talk about, oh, you got another migraine, you got to go home. I'm like, dude, shut your face. You don't know what pain is. You're going to down somebody for having that. You're inexperienced. You're immature. You're out of your depth. You haven't the breadth of experience or the depth of knowledge to criticize somebody that's having a migraine. You're done. So I was now engaged with migraines. And so, like I said, it all started with being in mineralogy and the microscopes were bogus. Well, no, it wasn't. It was me I had an aura. I'm about to get a migraine. So I'm dealing with those kind of issues and I'm clenching already. I'm already grinding my teeth. Didn't even know it. And so I'm in the guard. I'm going to Sonoma State. And man, I think it was like about the time we were on a Frago. We either got or just had a Frago to go to Iraq. Fragmentation order, for people that don't know what that is. And so, I am not a combat veteran. My title is a 12 Bravo combat engineer. So I have respect for my brothers who are combat veterans because I was not. Now I was ready to go and quite capable of doing it, but my name did not get called. And so
South the cookie crumbles, right?
That's how cookie crumbles. Yeah. So I'm basically, under pressure to maybe get deployed. I'm going through university. I'm working because I come from working class background. And so migraines started setting in. And that's where the light went on literally, Adam, when I was coming back from an Allman Brothers concert. So I'm the designated driver. Right. And I got a car full of friends that are drunk. I think one guy was in our unit. The rest of the guys were from my college experience in geology. And so I'm thinking like, oh, shit, I'm getting a migraine. I'm driving the car and it's night and the oncoming headlights are bad. So I'm kind of driving like this, my hands on the wheel. Well, my glasses were up here. So like I put my reading glasses on. I'm driving like this. Right. So just for whatever reason, I went like this. And I'm just trying to relieve. I'm trying to relieve because I'm feeling all this tension right here. So I literally probably barked out loud, oh my God, I feel relief. I'm going to buy a temple massager tomorrow. So in my mind, I couldn't be the guy that invented it. There's no way. Like I'm not that smart, right? Well, guess what? My name did get called. There you go, right? Suddenly it's like, oh, this thing's never been invented. I can't believe this. I can't be the guy that invents. Well, again, your name is called. It's time to step up. And I did it. So I got a patent on it. And every bit of it was a challenge, man. Like nothing fell into place easy. I told people doing this, inventing a product and making it usable and real for people is a brawl. It's a brawl. I've been in brawls. I've had my ass kicked by better men than myself. And you learn from that. And it ain't about getting knocked down, as we all know. It's about getting back up. So to me, this is like an analogy of a brawl. And it's sometimes you're like, oh, God, this sucks. And why isn't it easy? And I don't get it. Why you don't get it. And I'm pissed. And this ain't working. Yeah. And then you're like, dude, shut your face, bro. What was the phrase? Embrace the suck.
So, yeah, that's it.
If you can't freaking get past that, then you go and do something else because you ain't cut for this shit. And it's a crucible. And so I would turn that whiny shit around. And I'm like, you're lucky you're in a fight, dude. You kidding me? This life is short. You're lucky you got a brawl. You're lucky to be in a fight. You're lucky to have this challenge. So I started turning it around. It doesn't mean it was easier, but
so what year was this when you started the search for a temple massager and decided, well, they don't exist, so I'm gonna have to make it exist?
Yeah, that was 98, 99.
So yeah, like almost 30 years in the making here.
Yeah, totally. So it's funny.
The brawl makes sense now. And what steps do you take when you want to create a product? Like what did you have to do to get from where we're at now, or where you started to this right here, to not that, to this, to
there you go.
The finished project.
So it was, oh man, I had no knowledge base in product development. I studied geology. I was a combat engineer and I have a construction background. So just so you know, I didn't have a leg up. Like daddy wasn't in product development at Apple or some third base starting point in Silicon Valley kind of stuff, literally out of my league, out of my depth and out of my scope and out of my knowledge base, this occurred. So I don't want people to think like, oh, Joe's daddy's boy had a break or leg up, started on third base kind of stuff. That is, sorry, no, that's not me. You got the wrong guy. So I had the key things that allowed me to do this, brother, that I attribute number one was my Army experience. And everybody's got a different experience. And during your experience, you're going to find times where it sucks and you don't want to be there. Mm-hmm. But then there's times where you're grateful you're there and you start learning from it. And you're like, whoa, I was exposed to things that I would never find in the civilian world that gave me the tools and knowledge, experience, and the emotional education and maturity to learn how to do this. So then studying, geology, again, GI Bill, student guaranteed repayment list, GLIC I had at the time, it's gone now, but my education, my military experience paved the way. The tools were in place for me to exercise this endeavor. So I had the idea, I remember before the internet was even the internet, I'm on this basic rudimentary IBM internet thing at university, and I'm doing a rudimentary patent search. And it kept coming up negative contact. So in other words, there was no other temple massager. So I had to learn how to do a patent search. It's way easier these days. And then I kept coming up
right now, right?
Yeah, totally. Just go on the old Google machine, and it's way easier than what I was doing.
Yeah.
So you got to go find, and for anybody that's got a product idea, I'm available. Like I want to help my brothers and sisters, so I'm free. Because every time you go out and try to get this knowledge that I have, that I walked the walk through point by point, you're going to pay for it. When you contact me and ask me questions, I'm free because I love my brother and sisters military. Don't have a lot of family left these days. So, sometimes your friends are your family at this point, right? So I'm grateful for that. I have something to fall back on. So just putting it out there, feel free to contact me anytime. Joe@templemassager.com is my email. I will turn you on to advisors, mold builders, manufacturers, engineers, and patent attorneys. So I had to go through and, stumble through finding this out, and did the original patent search, found a patent attorney. Do not use an attorney that tells you that you can do a patent search. Like, don't go to a divorce attorney or real estate attorney. Go to a patent attorney. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to cut corners to save money. That's okay. I get that. I'm the master at it, believe me. But don't do it on that one. So I started searching around. I found a patent attorney, and it costs money. And so the guy was like, okay, first thing you got to do is official patent search. And so we did a patent search, and it came back. The guy says, look, there's 11 patents here you have to read and go through, and then call me. I'm going to tell you my opinion. Because attorneys aren't going to tell you what to do. They're just going to give you advice on what to do or how to go about it. So I read all these patents going all the way back to 1800s. It was any close facsimile thereof, any derivation of what I envisioned on my temple massager, it would pop a patent. So if it was even close, or was any little bit of language that was similar to what I was putting out there, I had to read it and go through it. So I go through 11 patents. I'm reading them. If I don't understand a word, I have to go look it up. You got to be freaking thorough, man. So I go back to the patent attorney, and I'm like, okay, I read. He's like, I think my opinion is that you have an opportunity to file a patent. That doesn't mean you're going to get it. So there's no guarantees at any step of this, okay? It's like, I advise you, yeah, I'd go for it. You could go for the patent. I don't know that you're going to get it. I'm not guaranteeing you this. You're not paying me for that. So I did the patent. It was a long process. We had troubles with that. I got through it. I got the patent. So patent searches, finding the right patent attorney were critical steps. I did file a provisional patent to give me 1 year protection. There's a strategy behind that. So that was one of the steps I took. So then, okay, you're off and you got your patent filed, and well, that takes months, man. Like you know, you're lucky if it happens in 6 to 8 months, if you hear anything. So in the meantime, I kept moving forward on mold building. And it was during that time that 9/11 happened, and I got out after 13 years and a bad knee. And so, you know, I had friends in the service, man. So that last guard unit I was friends with, I still was friends with in the reserve unit, met people on TDY. So suddenly everybody's going to war. And I wanted to go, man, but my knee was trash and gone. They never would have accepted me, but I felt the pull and wanted to do it. So to me, you know, at that time, I was writing comedy in Hollywood. I was working with Michael Weinberg. This guy did David Spade, America's Got Talent show, like totally bona fide guy. Because I had a stupid, funny show. It was ridiculous, like, you know, slapstick, ridiculous. And it was my way of taking the stress and like everything I was going through with temple massager and being on my own with an idea nobody believed in you was so hard that I somehow have the ability to make fun of things, including myself.
So you turn it into humor to cope.
Turn it into humor. Exactly, man. So I was like, I'm taking a beating on this, dude. And so to me, it morphed into this ridiculous show. I read a book about how to write TV. It was called Breakfast with Sharks, about a guy who came from the Midwest and went to Hollywood, wrote TV, was successful at it. Can't remember his name, but the book was Breakfast with Sharks. And then I'm doing construction remodel in San Francisco on Russian Hill. And the boss has a Christmas party. And there's Michael Meehan from the Meehan Brothers, comedian, troupe, and stage guy, but he'd done TV. And he's doing construction. I'm like, oh, hey, what's up, Michael? And I didn't know you were working for this guy. Yeah, Michael, are you still doing comedy? You know, what are you doing? Oh, well, you got to have something funny. Well, I had a pilot on a CD with me because the takeaway from that book was keep your pilot with you at all times because you never know who you're going to meet and where you're going to meet them. Like connections can happen anywhere. It's like keeping a resume in your pocket, right? If you're looking for something in this world, you know, I have the old adage, working man's adage of doing construction, because that was my bread and butter growing up, and that was my family. And so you show up on a job site with your working gloves in your back pocket, or you're not ready, right? So keep your resume with you, keep your pilot with you, keep whatever your ID in your pocket, something you can produce. So Michael looked at my pilot on the boss's Christmas party. He laughed. He's like, dude, that is stupid funny. I love it. Okay, we part ways. I go to work Monday morning. Well, he's standing at the door. And it's like dead of winter. And it's dark. It's still dark at 6:30. I'm showing up. And I'm like, oh, Michael, what's up, dude? We're going to work together. We're never going to get anything done. So I'm like looking forward to making this guy laugh. You know?
Right.
And Michael's cool because he's business too. And he's like, shut the fuck up. I'm not working with you today. I can't stop thinking about your stupid pilot. I want you to call Martin Olson, who's a TV guy. Tell him I sent you, or he won't talk to you. And tell him I'm a writer on your show and that he should be too. So I call Martin Olson. Martin Olson gets on. How'd you get my number? You know, Michael Meehan. Okay, must be good. What's going on? I tell him everything. I need you to call Michael Weinberg. Call Michael Weinberg. How'd you get my number? Martin Olson sent me. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, must be good. Next thing I know, I'm in Starbucks coffee in Pacific Palisades, which just burned down. And I'm meeting Michael Weinberg. I don't even know who this guy is. Dude, I haven't had a TV in 20 years. I read and, you know, I can look at everything I want to look at online. So I remember I told Michael, I'm like, Michael, I don't know how am I going to know who you are? I'm like 6'4", 250. I'll be wearing whatever. And he says, don't worry about it, Joe. I look like a typical Hollywood Jew. And I was kind of taken back that he said that. And I said, and just being honest and naive, I said, Michael, I got to be honest with you. I don't know what that kind of a guy looks like. And he says, I already like you, Joe Meisch. He wouldn't just say Joe or last name Meisch like Mel. He says, Joe Meisch. I already like you, Joe Meisch. Don't worry, we'll figure out. So I meet with him. He looks at my ridiculous pilot, reads my thing. Next thing I know, we're pitching to Comedy Central. I get an offer from Spike TV. This is over the course of months. And then it was like, okay, we're going to sell your TV show. Well, guess what? I'm donating hundreds of temple massagers to guys in Afghanistan, Iraq. They're going to FOBs and forward operating bases. I'm getting thank you letters from Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, Resilience Clinic, chaplain's office, behavioral health. I donated to Bethesda National Naval Medical. I donated to National Intrepid Center of Excellence. I'm getting all these letters and all this feedback. And I was like, okay, I cannot do both. It's not in the cards. You have to clone myself to do this. So I literally was like, I can't do this. I got to, and then my buddy Mike was KIA in Iraq, right? And I read the story, and we all know what that feels like if you've been through anything. So then that triggered a memory that I had. I was 20 years old, and a guy, Private Curtis Young, drowned on me in Army Reserve training. So these things come to me. As a person, it was a fiber of being level thought process. And all my friends are in war. And so I'm like, okay, I can't do both. What means more to me? I let go of the comedy thing, and I walked away from it. I remember my agent, Annette Van Duren, she's like, what happened to you? Where'd you go? And I'm like, I got a higher calling.
The part about this is wild is you had
so
made
I was like, I got a higher calling.
And yeah, you had made it, and you chose to walk away from that to continue to take the beating with developing, and like that speaks volumes about your character, first of all, brother. And I'm glad that you did what you did, because I think this thing is probably, it hasn't changed as many lives as I know that it's going to, but it's definitely changed some lives. And I only know that through the stories you've already told me, which we're moving into. So, kudos to you for taking the hard left turn.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. No regrets. And I'm still friends with Michael and everything. So anyway, there's a little side story that a sacrifice I made, and I got no problem with it. I was grateful to be there. So Temple Massager continues, right? Answering your question, how did we get to where we are today? So then I get the patent, and I'm donating, and I've donated 6,000 so far to date over all these years. And there's been lulls, and then I luckily got to work with Stanford School of Medicine neuroscience, Dr. Maheen Adamson. Next thing I know, they plug an existing pilot study. They plug in Temple Massager into the Headache Centers of Excellence at VA Palo Alto.
Which is a score for you, right? That's a huge win.
Oh, unbelievable, dude. I remember I talked with her, and she's like, you actually have letters from Walter Reed stating that they're using your device, the donations? I'm like, yeah, I'll send them to you right now. I sent her the letters. She's like, this is unbelievable. I want to get you in here at a TBI, traumatic brain injury, TBI conference, and present an abstract. Put an abstract together. And I'm like, oh, shit. Dude, I mean, my college abstract stuff was kind of a joke, and this is real deal Palo Alto VA Stanford. So I remember I showed up to present my whatever. I'm not being bad negative. I'm just being comically negative. I show up with my crappy abstract, okay? And I go look at other people's abstracts, and they're co-authored by PhDs and MDs and medical grad students. And here's, I'm just kidding, but here's Knucklehead Grunt with an abstract, and I'm looking at other people's abstract, and I'm embarrassed. I'm like, oh my God, I look like shit. This is humiliating. But then, you know what, brother? In my mind, you're going to like this. In my mind, I looked at their way higher quality work and the names attached, and I had nobody attached. It was me, Joe Meisch, Bachelor of Arts. That was as good as it got, right? But I told myself, like, there's a moment of like embarrassment or humiliation or whatever. And I'm like, dude, you know what? You knocked your crying, whiny shit off right now. Like if I was talking to myself in the mirror, this is going through my head because I'm like, you know what, dude? You know what? These people, they got all this stuff. You know what they don't have? They don't have a letter from a combat commander that was in contact every day for your deployment in Afghanistan. They don't have a letter or 5 from Walter Reed, Bethesda Naval, National Intrepid Center of Excellence, individual veterans, veteran service organization too. They don't have any of that. I have it. I've got an actual product. It wasn't the exact same one that this is. Their shit was all theoretical and maybes. And so it was a trip to go through this, like, feel like shit, but then build yourself up because you're dealing with hardcore reality. But they are in theoretical land. And the amount of it's no offense to me or them. I'm just telling you the positioning and what was going through my mind. So then we end up collecting data, some data on an actual pilot study. And it took a while. And I remember I got invited to Stanford School of Medicine Neuroscience Forum, and I called them up on the number and I said, did you guys send this to me? I don't know why you're sending me this. Yeah, we're inviting you to present your abstract at Stanford School of Medicine Neuroscience Forum. And I'm like, I thought maybe I got this by mistake. I can't believe I'm getting invited to Stanford Neuroscience Forum.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just like, ask and you shall receive kind of shit. So there I am, and we're collecting data in a pilot study. And I'm blown away. The abstract gets rewritten. I've got PhDs and grad students on there now, and I'm feeling better. And then, dude, COVID comes along, and it scatters everything. And it's like, oh my God, dude, you're killing me. Okay, there's part of this crucible of suck it up, go back to your day job, but keep up the work. Don't lose sight of the vision and the mission. You still have an objective to achieve, and I never let go of that. So here we are today, and I got approached by Santa Rosa, California Police Department. The chief of police comes up to me, and you got a letter on there, you post that. Chief of police comes up to me because I got a small grant through a Sonoma County Business Alliance. I go there, and they're like, hey, Joe, we'd like to know what you did with our money. There's a TBI form. That was cool. Where's our money? Yeah, scroll down on that one. You'll see that Santa Rosa letter. And so the Santa Rosa police chief says, I think you got something helping me with my PTS claims. There you go. And you can see there, he's talking about, I showed up, or I ended up working with the wellness director at Santa Rosa Police Department. He was from a third-party wellness company that was embedded at Santa Rosa PD. And he looks over everything, and I didn't know if he's going to say yes or no. And he's like, Joe, you actually have some preliminary pilot data that's positive. You've got deployment in military, Walter Reed, Bethesda, blah, blah, blah. You get all this stuff. I cannot find a reason why I should not work with you. I cannot find a reason that this is dangerous or going to cause harm. So I'm going to say to the chief, let's go ahead, let's engage. They bought like 24 devices. I go in on May 4th. I get a picture with the chief. I show people how to use it. And I got a picture with chief of police shaking his hand. All the temple massagers are in front. Look like a drug bust, the way everything's kind of set up there, but they're all temple massagers. So next thing I know, the next day, and it's exemplified in the letter you're showing right now, the wellness director says, Joe, you haven't even been gone 24 hours. Look at this email I got from one of our dispatchers, and it says that I got a migraine so severe today that I was going to have to leave work. I got issued a temple massager from the wellness unit within the police department. I used it for 10 minutes. My migraine was relieved enough that I could stay on the job. Well, Cheyenne says, Joe, you saved her pain. You saved her sick leave hours and days, and you saved our department about $300 to $500, because if we had to replace her with somebody coming off their day off or overtime, that would have cost us $300 to $500. So I'm like, okay, so $145 price point saved you $300 to $500 in one instance? He says, yes. I said, what if we save you one headache a month for an entire year? You tell me that's going to save you $3,000 to $5,000 on a one-time $145 price point? Correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Nope, you're right. The math works out. This is unbelievable value. Well, that started it off for me going around and connecting with other police departments. That's why you have a letter from San Diego Police and Denver Police. So that letter is really cool because they bought 50 devices. Like everybody says no. Like I start off, I know I'm getting a no. Again, that's fine. You know what? You want to go introduce something new in this world? This is adult world, man. You know what? We're going to say no. And I'm prepared for that. And I'm like, okay, I know it's going to be a no. So then they get the letter from Santa Rosa Police. They get a sample, and they were like, how do I get my hands on a sample? And I said, I send it to you at no cost. I'll pay shipping. You're going to have zero risk. They try a device out, 2 weeks. They call me back and they order 50 devices. I become a vendor of the city of San Diego. They buy 50 devices. 7 days after they receive the 50 devices, I get this letter that you got right there, talking about helping child abuse detectives with stress and anxiety and background investigators. And I keep breaking ground. Like I was focused on 911 dispatchers because they deal with a huge monitor, a wall of monitors, and they're dealing with stress. So you get a lot of headaches like I did in my military shit. So I'm relating military through innovation and applying it to first responders, right? So I was blown away. I'm like, I'm helping my company, my product is helping child abuse detectives. My God, what they're dealing with is obviously hideous, and I can help them through an idea. I'm grateful, man, to my creator. I'm grateful to the Army. I'm grateful to my peers, my brethren in the veteran community. I'm grateful for my education at Sonoma State and my military experience. That all came together to get you these letters that you're demonstrating here right now. Some of the work we're doing. I'll stop for a minute and let you ask me something.
I'm just like, the one line in this one from Santa Rosa where he says the temple massager device presents an incredibly low risk, high reward modality for symptom relief and mitigates medication use. That one line is enough for me, because particularly when you're talking about, I know you're primarily in the first responder 911 dispatcher space. However, this is universal to all human beings on the planet.
It's for everybody. I don't mean to pigeonhole myself when I'm talking with you. It is for everybody in the civilian world. Absolutely.
But what I think, your drive, you started all of this. You were sending them overseas because you couldn't deploy. You walked away from comedy, I think largely inspired by the fact that you couldn't deploy, because this is your way to make, a difference or whatever that is that's personal to you. I think Temple Massager had something to do with that. And I know your target market has always been the veteran community. And that one line, the two words in that line, mitigates medication use. That's a big problem that I'm out here fighting for through all the work that I do with plant medicine and everything else. Like, we are given this chemical fucking concoction that turns us into zombies, and nobody ever addresses anything beyond just throw pills at it, turn you into a zombie that, oh, by the way, still wants to kill itself. Like that blows my mind that's the strategy. And there's a lot more to that I won't go into here. Private conversations I've had with PhDs who've walked away from medicine working at the VA because, it is what it is. We'll just leave it at that. And so, it's incredible, because I imagine, what was the first letter you got besides the Stanford letters when you started employing these in police departments? Was Santa Rosa the first one you got?
Yes.
So from Santa Rosa on October 27th, 2023, you moved to April 12th, 2024. So what is that? September, 7 months. Then the next one comes in July, 3 months later. So they're getting fewer, like, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, man. You're out there pounding the pavement. You're being the sales and marketing guy for your own company, expecting to get a no, having to coddle these people, really make your case, but then they use it. And now word of mouth is getting you. And now you're in Denver, not just California. And I mean, like, look at this. Like, as dispatchers in a major metropolitan area, we're inundated with stress on a continuous basis. We have a wall of screens in front of us and are bombarded with high levels of lights and sounds for 12 plus hours a day. I know this to be true because once upon a time, I dated a girl who worked as a 911 dispatcher, and I do not know how those human beings work that job. It's incredible what they actually deal with, not only on the physical being in front of the screens, but on the mental and emotional toll that it takes on them. So I really don't even know what to say, man. Like, the floor is yours, dude. Keep going with this shit, because this is where it's at, man. Now you're May 18th, the Department of Veterans Affairs. You've got 21 June 2010, a letter of a memorandum for record from the Department of the Army, California National Guard. Like this is, I mean, what more proof do you need than this?
Yep. Well, that's where the pilot study comes into play. You and I talked a little bit about that ahead of time. Thank you for going through those. That's a great letter from Mark Abramson. He was the founder of the Stanford School of Medicine Mindfulness-Based Stress Clinic. Mark's a great guy. I remember when I met with Mark a long time ago, somebody introduced me to him, and he said, "Hey, I'd love to talk with you." He's a retired TMD specialist now. So he was actually buying devices for his TMD patients to massage on your masseter muscle to help just relax it and get the tension out of it. And he helped me understand about the relaxation response and autonomic nervous system stimulation, because I asked him, why am I getting all this mental health feedback? I invented it just to hit my musculature and get the tension out of it. And just like getting a massage, I want to relieve the tension in my face because I'm an tense dude. I clench and whatever. So he was like, you've got more going on, Joe, than you realize. Your product, in my opinion, is stimulating the relaxation response, eliciting it, because your product is stimulating the autonomic nervous system stimulation, just like getting a haircut kind of feels good. You get all the movement and touching all your nerves. Well, that could trigger the relaxation response, just like getting a massage or a haircut. So he explains all this to me, and that's when I started grasping that this could help with anxiety maybe. And so Mark was a great guy to help me understand a lot of that. Again, my background is geology, combat engineer, landmines, you know.
Well, I mean, just look at this testimony. I've been using the temple massager for the last 3 months. I have slowly decreased my sleep aid medication and increased the use of your temple massager. I now use your temple massager and no longer take a sleep aid to go to sleep. I wake up refreshed and not groggy until 2 p.m. That's wild, man. No, just medicine to help him go to sleep, and all the way to no medicine from this device right here. This really, I mean, no offense, man. It's pretty simple design, right? Like, it's not anything really to it.
It's ridiculously simple. And part of the reason why I was blown away, nobody had done it before. But here we are. And, you know, I don't want to pick any fights or say anything about pills, yes, or pills, no. But you are reading things and identifying themes, reoccurring commentary from police to combat veterans that I've been seeing for years. And it's hard to get people to recognize that and take it seriously or embrace it. So, you know, while I'm on your show, I'll say I would love to work with anybody that's willing to work with me to help, you know, integrate this into other practices. You know, this is a great thing to practice with mindfulness, deep breathing, and other practices. It's not a standalone. I like to make sure it incorporates with other practices. This is not a end all be all. Let's incorporate things into a multifaceted thing. So,
well, so what I'm hearing you say, Joe, is you designed this, you created this to get relief from your own migraines. However, the secondary, tertiary order effects of your design, it has more than just that as a use case. It looks to me like that might be some aromatherapy going on in the case next to that. So now you're getting the olfactory sense involved, which we already know has been proven to trigger relaxation and calm and take away anxiety. I have no idea what scent that is in there or what you
it comes with lavender. It comes with lavender, but you can put whatever oil you want on there. I included lavender because that's kind of studies have shown lavender has, you know, beneficial effects on headache relief. And so it can be whatever oil you want. I just included lavender because of its you know, how it works. So
I think it's a wise choice. Okay, I love lavender. I love lavender. So, but I mean, there's so many use cases for this. You're finding that it can relieve anxiety. I mean, fuck, we all as veterans struggle with this heightened sense of anxiety for absolutely no reason that we struggle to get rid of, right? And so you're just adding another tool to all those other things that you said you designed it to be in conjunction with mindfulness, breath work, meditation, grounding practices, gratitude practices, abundance mindsets. Just throw this in there and add that to it. And man, when you start combining all these tools together, it's like, shit, you become unstoppable as a human being, really.
It's true, man. It's another tool in the toolbox.
How does it work?
So basically you would, you can see there's a little, I got my blur on here. So you see there's a little turnbuckle right here. This just turns, and what it does is it opens and closes the arms. So the arms come together. Okay, slow down. There we go. You see the arms opening and closing by me turning the turnbuckle. Yeah. That's the aromatherapy pad. So you would want that facing up. And basically, it's so complicated. It's ridiculous simple. So I'm sitting here massaging my trigeminal nerve, my temporalis musculature right now. I love working around my ear. We got a little feedback from a tinnitus influencer. He did a review on it. He's talking about how it's relieving somatic tinnitus in some of his people. It's really complicated, as you can see, and it feels really good. It kind of triggers that relaxation response. So it comes
You
with a
can
little bit
even
of
hear
lotion.
it in your voice when you're using it. It's like it's almost hard for you to kind of grab that thought and talk because you're
It
trying
is,
to
man. It's like lights
counterbalance
out.
that relaxation feeling. I would equate it's almost like I don't know if you have dogs, but like you rub dogs behind their ears and they just like kind of melt in your arms or whatever. It's kind of like the
Same thing.
equivalent of what I'm thinking.
So it's funny you mention that because I've had people send me videos of them. Look, I maybe shouldn't say this. I don't know. Some people were using it on their dogs, and their dogs are like going to sleep on them. They're like, Joe, this thing works on my dog. I'm like, okay, it's doggy medicine, you know.
Hell yeah, man.
Don't use it on your dog. I'm just telling you an anecdotal story I got. So basically, getting back to how to use it, you put your aromatherapy on there and have it facing up while you use it. That way it's proximal to your nose. You're practicing mindfulness and deep breathing. It comes with a lotion. It's a little chapstick lotion. And everything's 100% custom made. I created everything from nothing. So the lotion roll up, I learned you got to break the friction. So you got to put on some lotion right here and then up on your temple. And that way you don't get big giant, like I was using it in the early days and I'd have big giant red marks and I was chafing my skin. So I'm walking around and people are going like, gee, what happened to your face, dude? And I'm like, oh, I got this temple massager. I'm working out with it and it's relaxing my jaw, but it leaves these big red marks. So I had to create a lotion, right? So you put a little lotion on the chapstick that it comes with here and here, then it breaks the friction. So I'll put on this single point tip right here. That's the tri-point. I put on this single point and I'll purposely dig under. I'll find my cheekbone, come down, and right here, I'll work back and forth on my masseter muscle. You got to let your mouth hang open. I can't do it and talk to you right now, obviously, but
Yeah.
I'll work. Plus, I'll go to sleep.
Well, I can imagine that. Is it
Yeah.
helpful for people who have jaw problems also? Like, does it help relax?
Like those letters, and I want to get into my research commentary here. Like the letters you read, I want those letters to speak more than myself because those are from people that are using it, and those are testimonials in their own words. Just so happens they're all from combat vets, combat commanders, police, 911 dispatchers, detectives, investigators. Okay. Well, those people are high-end people in our society, and they're credible. So I have people tell me, yeah, dude, it helps me with my TMD, my temporal mandibular disorder. So people say I have TMJ. Well, that's referring to the joint. This is the most complex joint in the human body. That's your temporal mandibular joint right there where your jaw connects to your head. So I've had lots of feedback on TMD. Me and myself, I use it for getting under my cheekbone and down on that masseter. That helps me tremendously. There's a great dentist, Dr. Fritz, I work with out of San Diego. Great guy. Getting into commentary, it's funny. He actually came up to me at a dental society. There you go, San Diego Dental Society. And he sat down with me. And the next thing I know, he's got me on camera with his wife. And she speaks Spanish. And so he was struggling with the word to say temple massager. It's templo de masaje. So temple massager Spanish is templo de masaje. So I start talking with her in my very limited Spanish. I explain it to her. Well, he starts using it for Bell's palsy, or she does. And I'm like, my word, dude, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not a big Bible thumper, but I've got on my knees and I prayed for strength to continue this battle. And my creator, I've asked for help. And that my promise was that I'll help people as much as I can if you give me the strength to continue on, Lord. And so these are some of the things that I see. I've got multiple people talking about Bell's palsy now. So I want to dovetail this into research because it's very important. I'm at the end of all the anecdotal data that I will ever need. I don't need anymore. I appreciate it. I will accept it. I'll post it. I'll put it out there. But once our pilot study got, upended by COVID, I started working with police, getting all those letters. Well, now I'm working with UCSF. It's the second highest rated medical university in the United States. That's Dr. Sabra Inslick, and she wants to do a pilot study on it. So I'm also working with Palo Alto VA, and they see the benefit of this device through all the letters from police and combat veterans. So we recently lost our funding through the VA Pathfinder program. And so we're struggling to seek funding for pilot studies. So if anybody on your audience knows anybody that is in a position to potentially help us with paying for our research pilot study, that's the brass ring of medical efficacy. That's the end of the line, if you will, to proving a device. And it's all based and predicated on our anecdotal data. Again, some of which you've looked at, the letters from various people in high stress, jobs, combat, police, etc. So we're going for funding to pay for a pilot study now for the device and working with the VA and UCSF. So there's an ask from me, if there's anybody in the audience that can help me network into grants. I have shares. Funny thing is, investors always wanted me to make it in China. And, I've actually had some molds built in China, but the products are made here. And I always told these investors, I'm like, I'm not making this in China, man. God bless the people of China. And I hope they're great and everything, but I am an American. That's where I'm at. I'm a U.S. service member and veteran, and I'm going to make it here. It's going to be a made in USA product. And so I'm not going to work with you. I walked away from investors, and a lot of them would laugh at me, like literally been through the maximum humiliation. And I'm sitting back, and I always go to parade rest. Like, I'm a little pissed off when I go to parade rest. Okay.
Yeah.
That's me containing my shit, right?
Yeah.
So I've gone to parade rest at numerous investor events, and I'll leave it there. And as ugly and painful, as frustrating as that was to go through parade rest, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Problem is, you don't realize it sometimes in life that what's happening right now is going to benefit you in 6 months, 6 years, or whatever. And so I'm grateful for the training and knowledge and experience to be able to have that emotional maturity and discipline to calmly go to parade rest and not run my mouth or go hands-on or whatever I might have felt like doing at the time.
Taking the high road.
Take the high road. I have taken the low road, and I can take the low road, but it's not advisable, and I don't recommend it. So in hindsight, that was the best thing that could have happened to me. You know why? Because I retained the vast majority of shares in Temple Massager Incorporated, where now I can go out and sell some shares to raise some money for the pilot study. Had I taken the investors years ago, I would not be in a position that I am now. So I'm glad they laughed in my face and didn't take it seriously, and they wanted me to make it in China, and I didn't, and that's great, and whatever. So that was an unseen benefit through my discipline that I was able to maintain that position to where I can actually sell shares now, and it's going to go directly towards research. So there's my ask for your audience. If there's somebody that can communicate with me, I'm working with PhD researchers that would be happy to be in a meeting with us to discuss the legitimacy and the logistics of all of this. And I'm talking about research. So I'm going for research. That is my next big move. I'm continuing to innovate. We're going to make this better. And there's other features and stuff I'm working on to improve it. So I'm always thinking and trying to make it better. And so there you go. There's an ask and kind of next steps.
I can't wait to see once you find, because I know you're going to find funding. I know you'll find funding for this. I mean, I think you could probably go back to these police departments and just thinking off the top of my head, just have them advocate for you to maybe even help raise money for you as kind of like, hey, you gave us a sample for free. You fixed this problem for us. We believe in this product. Maybe split kind of what you help them raise money for themselves too. You guys do a joint effort or whatever. I'm really interested to see, where do you think this can go once you have the actual research science behind it? I mean, because I'm sure the stuff that you're going to find when you start researching this and the science behind it, it's going to be mind blowing. I can't wait for you to come back to me and be like, hey man, got the study going. We discovered X, Y, Z, ABC. Like, holy shit. I didn't even know it was doing all these things. I mean, just seeing the letters from Dennis, seeing the case study for Bell's palsy, I kind of relate it back to like what is becoming mainstream. I love fasting, right? Everybody knows that I lost 100 pounds through fasting. And now we know that if you do really long fasts, 21 days plus 40 days, you can actually cure cancer by doing that. It's been proven. There's documentaries out there that show it. Hepatitis C is another one that's been cured, completely disappeared from this woman who contracted it as a child, had it for 30 years, did a 21-day fast, and it's gone. I only wonder, like, what is your product actually doing inside of the head? There's got to be some kind of rewiring of neural pathways going on in there or something like that. I have no idea, but I imagine I'm sure you've already had these conversations. So maybe give a little insight to where you think this is going, what you think you're going to discover when you do get the funds to do the pilot study and start digging into the science of it. Because I know you've had those conversations.
Yeah, and that's a great point. So where I see it going, let me park that. What you're talking about is neuroplasticity.
Yeah. And
that whole concept was introduced to me from, again, Dr. Mark Abramson. He founded the Stanford School of Medicine Mindfulness-Based Stress Clinic. And he introduced that to me, and I read up on it after he introduced it to me. And he says, Joe, basically people are going to be using this. And, I'm not a doctor and all this. So when I tell you this, it's just my interpretation of it. Okay. But basically he's talking about people training themselves to get the benefit of the relaxation response. So that's parasympathetic nervous system activation. So that is exemplified by the brain chemistry of increased dopamine, endorphins, and serotonin. This is all common knowledge you can go look up in any medical publications. I did not come up with it. This is nothing of my creation. So, and there's other things that trigger the relaxation response: working out, sex, elation. I just had a baby. I won the lottery, right? There's other things that do that. The little added benefit with a temple massager is that, you don't have to have a partner. You don't have to win $1 million. You don't have to, run a marathon or go to the gym. It's just a simple, little, easy deployable thing. And it's simple. So if it can help you,
keep it in your purse.
Yeah. I mean, look, if it's going to be deployable and taken to a forward operating base, it's probably going to work out pretty well at home, work, or school.
That's just deductive reasoning there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty simple. So the neuroplasticity thing, getting back to Abramson, is, people will start looking forward to using it. And there's an anticipation of benefits that people will start looking towards. So it's like, oh boy, I get an ice cream. I know how good I feel when I get ice cream. Like a dark chocolate and red wine can trigger the relaxation response at a lower level. So there's an expected benefit that people start anticipating getting that can help trigger that relaxation response. So he started talking about neuroplasticity through the device and anticipated benefits through usage, and that would encourage them to use it. So you're kind of rewiring your brain when you're using this, and again, and or other techniques or practices that can elicit the relaxation response. So that neuroplasticity is rewiring the brain, and I'm not going to get into it. People can go read up on it and look into it by much smarter and more accredited people than myself. But Mark said this tool, the temple massager, is and can potentially help with neuroplasticity. Well,
this is awesome.
You look at that letter from San Diego police. Look at what they said. The one back,
Yep.
big gold. Here you go. Okay. Look at what they said. Read the line about mood change. Look at that.
Yeah.
Read that.
The mood in the mood in the office instantly lifted, and there was an abundance of smiles and laughter. The detectives were truly touched at the thoughtful gift, and they all talked about the immediate relief they experienced from using them.
Okay, so those are child abuse detectives and background investigators. It says that in print on that letter from San Diego Police Wellness Unit after they bought 50. So this isn't Joe, good looking Joe, or slick tongued Joe, or some gimmick, or maybe. This is fact on the ground, real. So when you look at that mood change, that gets into that neuroplasticity commentary. How are you going to change somebody's mood? Dude, that is mental health. Am I right?
Yeah.
Or am I wrong?
No, you're right. You're right.
So
This
we're affecting change on people that are dealing with shit that none of us want to see, right?
Well, I would argue that half the population doesn't even know really exists.
No, these police are dealing with things that you and I never want to or need to do. Talk about you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube type of living life experience, like combat or other hideous things. They put on letter mood change. That is mental health, pure and simple. So for me, I start getting excited, obviously, about how we can help people, and the future is bright with this. So getting into where I see this thing. You have to have medical studies, and we're working on that. And I need help, so I'm asking anybody out there in the audience to help me work with my researchers at UCSF. I have Bell's palsy feedback multiple times. I have mood change. That's anxiety relief, mental health. I have migraine. There's migraine feedback. Dude, combat stress. It says that on the combat commander's letter. Outside of being eaten alive by a shark, a tiger, a bear, or a lion, combat stress is up there with being eaten alive, I'm going to suppose, okay? Pretty confident on that one. So if that level of stress can be mitigated with the temple massager, it's probably going to help everybody in everyday life, that stress they deal with from work, relationships, or whatever kind of stresses they're dealing with. So, once I get a pilot study, the first one we're going for is what they call CAM therapy, complementary alternative medicine. It says that on our abstract. That CAM therapy, complementary alternative medicine, is VA medical lingo for drug-free, non-invasive. On the street, it's called holistic practices. Well, there's an acronym for it in the military, DoD, VA medical world. It's called CAM therapy. That's how they label it. So we're going for CAM therapy based, aka drug-free, non-invasive, CAM therapy based headache relief and anxiety relief. So that anxiety and that mental health stress can manifest into jaw clenching, enter me and my problems and why I invented it, because I had stress that was manifesting into physical ailments. And that happens to everybody. Different people.
I was going to say, this is a prime example of what you're talking about, man. This, when I read this kind of hit home. So 15 December 2016 from Charles, an Army active duty combat medic. Joe, do you all offer discounts? I'm in the worst time in my life. I've marked my wrist with a knife. There's someone who massages my temple, helpful therapy, but her fingers are not always able. $40 is an incredible amount for me presently. You respond with, you send him a temple massager at no cost. January 23rd, so about roughly a month later, I did receive the temple massager. The past 4 weeks have been okay, and that is substantial for me. And as veterans ourselves, when we say we're okay, that's significant from where the dude sounds like he was at when he was cutting himself. More than I can describe. 4 weeks of feeling okay versus 17 months of intense anxiety, panic attacks, and suicidal ideations is substantial. I owe quality gratitude to you for sending me a temple massager. The temple massager is helping me. Thank you sincerely. Thank you. Like, how much more, do you need from that, from a combat medic who, again, just like the child detectives, right? Like I mean, it's undeniable what you're able to do with this, man. It's mind blowing to me.
Again, I like the letters to speak for themselves more than me. I'm just a talking head when it comes down to it. So thank you for sharing that letter. Those were emails between myself and that individual. And, you know, that's about as real as it gets, Adam. He wrote me out of the blue talking about marking his wrist with a knife and $40 and this and that. And at the time, I remember I wrote him back and I said, hey, the price is paid. I serve it to you guys that gave all. So give me your APL, military shipping address. And I sent it to him. And that was the letter I got back. You know, I remember after Christmas, I wrote him and I said, hey, is the thing helping you? And that's his response is what you read. So it doesn't get any more real than that, you know? So
particularly still being in a combat theater, right? Like, you know, I mean, and we're out of time here, brother. So let's recap this. Temple Massage is changing people's lives. It's doing incredible things. You brought the receipts. We put the receipts on the screen. You need money to get this thing some medical efficacy so that you can get this in the hands of the people who need it most. So my call to action for this platform that I've built, there's 11,000 of you here. I don't know how many of you are going to see this or when you're going to see it, but if you have connections to people with deep pockets who really want to make a difference, because I hear this on a regular basis, how can I help? What can I do to get involved in the veteran space and help our brothers and sisters? This is something that you can do. You can get this man some funding so that he can bring this to another level so that you can find yourself in the VA clinic getting prescribed one of these at no cost to you, because I think that's probably your end goal. That being said, Joe was nice enough to offer a very generous discount code. I'll let him speak for that. I also want you to tell everybody how they can find you, Joe, and how they can reach out to you to talk to you about this, all that good stuff. So put your socials out there as well as what you're offering for the Temple Massager to the audience here today, brother.
Yep, absolutely. So my contact is Joe, Joe, at templemassager.com. Literally, I'm an open book here. My phone number is 707-321-4046. Our website where you can actually order a product is templemassager.com. And I'm happy to be able to help people out. I was, you know, if I was rich, I'd give Temple Massagers away all day, man. But unfortunately, I'm not that guy. So, you know, if you want to buy one, that helps the cause. We got the discount code out there. You got the code present there for us?
I got to pull it up. The code will be in the description below. It'll also go out into the Stronghold community. So come join the community. I'll also send it out to the newsletter. And like I said, it'll be linked in the description below. If you want the discount code and you want one of these, you're going to have to come follow me. That's the price you're going to have to pay.
That's the price you got to pay, man.
Yeah, that's the price you got to pay.
So yeah, we got a discount code. Well, that's good, man. This is structured help and helping yourself, helping everybody. And so there you go. Get a hold of me. And thanks again for having me, Adam.
Nah, dude, thank you for I don't know. I think we actually got connected by the guy who just left a comment, Mr. Adam Bird, one of my favorite people on the planet. And he reminded me. Yeah, because I know we had been connected before, and then, you know, being busy like we are, had lost touch, and he had reached out to me again to tell me to reconnect with you and do something like this. I'm so glad that I did, because, you know, getting people off the pills is really my objective, one of my main objectives, because you've seen it, I've seen it, and it's just not a good road to go down when things like this exist and other modalities that exist too. So I encourage people to get outside of your comfort zone and explore this funny looking thing that, you know, kind of doesn't look like it would do much, but is changing people's lives. So thank you so much for doing this. Thanks for reaching out to me, man. Thanks for the generosity with the discount code that will be linked in the description, in the community, in the newsletter, and all that good stuff. And man, if there's ever anything I can do to help you out, please let me know beyond this. I'd love to, once you get funding and get the studies going, I'd love to bring you back on to really dive into what you guys are finding with this on the science side. So again, man, I really appreciate your time today and for you being a resource to our brothers and sisters out there, man. It means the world.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm here to support people, and I love any connectivity you got. Let's stay in touch, no matter what or what we're doing. I'm not going anywhere, and so I'd love to have you pull up a flank, if you don't mind military phrase. I'm encouraging people to pull up a flank with me. I need the help. I want the help. I want to do this together with people. I don't want to be a lone wolf. So I'm open for people to come and find ways to help us help other people.
I love it, man. Thanks again, Joe. Everybody, Joe Meich from Temple Massager. Go get your Temple Massager today at templemassager.com. And we will see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.